Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to get into some of the details on the handheld, and I'm going to explore some of the functions on it and get us started so we can do some basic calculatoring things. But one of the biggest things you'll notice different between the Nspire handheld and maybe the 84, I think I'm going to end up referencing the 84 a lot just to give us a sense of comparison. It's probably what we're familiar with, the 84s, the 83s. But there are some differences with the Nspire. But then there are some similarities, so it'll give us a good point of reference if I kind of compare the two as we go. But a lot of things you'll notice different is it feels more computerish, feels more like maybe your handheld phone, like your smartphone or your tablet or your iPad or one of those kind of devices. It feels more like one of those. Even if you look at it, I mean, it even looks sleek. It's thin. The screen's in shiny color. You have a home page and you access the apps and whatever you need to from there. So it's going to feel more computery, more like another handheld device you have. So I just want to go through some of the questions just to get us familiar with it. So what keys remind us of the computer keys? So if we look at this thing, maybe we've got an on button, we've got an escape button, we've got a tab button, we've got a control, shift. And these do pretty much the same things on your computer might do. Shift's going to let us use caps. Tab's going to bounce you around on the screen. And our home button. Okay, this is going to be our biggest friend. So no matter what happens, no matter what we messed up or opened or did something or we're not really sure what just happened, home page, home page, home page, home page, home page. So we're going to click right there a whole bunch. So what reminds you of maybe on your cell phone? Well, you got your keypad, and your screen is going to vary depending on what you chose. So kind of like what your cell phone might have. Okay, you got some blue letters. Now, if you got a school version, it's going to be in yellow. But these blue versions, can you see these? It's kind of like on your 84 if you use the second button to access these. So we'll use control, and then we'll tag these. Okay, when we turned it on, we should have already set it up and gone through the English and the language defaults, get that figured out. So we've got left, right, up, down. So on your keypad, you've got left, rights, and up and downs. And these are going to move you on the screen. Okay, you've also got this thing right here is a touchpad. So you can see how if I kind of move that along there. Now if you're using, I'm using the cursor, but if you're using your finger, you'll move it around kind of like the touchpad on your laptop or something. So that's one good way to get around. Sometimes it can drive you crazy. Maybe you've got lotion on your fingers, or I've got some fat thumbs and it's hard to make it work. But arrows will get you around. There's usually more than one way to get anywhere you need to go on this thing. So you can use this if you need to. It's kind of nice, or just move around. Or if you just hit the numbers for these settings, and we'll talk about these. But if you hit the number 3, number 4, number 5, A or B, it'll activate what that says. Okay, home page. Yes, we're going to use that a lot. That's our friend. Okay, so this first one, this is our... This is going to give us our calculator functions. So if we go down right here, add a calculator to your new document. So if you hit that, okay, well let me back up one step. So whenever you hit one of these, it's going to add new tabs along the top. Can you tell now I'm at a 1.6? And if I did some math, and if you go back home, basically what you did is you minimized that screen. So home, adding one of these will add a page. Now if you go 4, this thing right here, this command that says current, that'll bring that right back up to where you went. So if I hit home, it's like on your computer, minimized it, you're thinking, oh my gosh, where'd it go? Did I just delete it? You didn't delete it. Hit current, and that'll bring it right back up. Well, I keep getting these new documents. So if I go home, and I hit this again, so if you arrow down to the calculator, if I hit enter, see now I'm on 1.7. What this does is it just adds another page in the document. So you can keep doing your work. So and if I go back, you can click on it. If you use the cursor, you can do that. Let me do it the way you would do it. Here's how you go between page to page to page. If you hit Control and then left or right, this will move you to our other pages. Control right will move us this way. And I've made a lot of dummy ones as I was messing with this thing. So Control left or right. Home is your friend. Pick which one you need. 4 will take you back to where you were. And Control left or right moves you through your pages. Okay, and then it has asked us about the next icon. So what is this one? Well, this is our good friend, the graphs. So if we hit this one on the bottom, now we got a graph page. So you could do your typical stuff. Kind of like on your 84, would you have to go to a graph window and a y equals window and then just back to the main window. This one just inserts new documents. So I can control left or right to get between my documents. And so we got this one. This will open up a geometry page. So we can look at that one. So I'm going to go home and down to the bottom and over to geometry. And this thing functions a little bit like Geometry Sketchpad or GeoGebra, if you've ever used either of those. It's a little builder thing for, you can build your shapes and measure the lengths and measure angles and compare the sums and the distances and areas and things like that. We may come back to this one a little bit later, but this one gets very involved. For today, we're just going to stick with the calculator one. And then you've got, let's see what this one says. We have lists, data, and notes. So we've got our lists. So lists should feel a little bit familiar. This is sort of like you had on your 84. You had your lists, and you can go in and make your list of numbers, project them on your graph, and do your scatter plot and get your regressions and things like that. So that's what this list will take us to. So if we want to try one of those, just if you want to see what it looks like. And keep in mind, you're not going to hurt anything. You can click on whatever you want. You can mess this up. I'm going to show us how to reset, how to go back, undo, fix your mistakes. So don't feel bad. You're not going to ruin anything. Worst case scenario, we can change the settings right back to the factory defaults. So should have said that at the beginning, but feel free to knock yourself out. If you get something messed up, you can always undo it or reset it, so don't worry about it. So if we open up a list, so kind of like a spreadsheet, and a lot of more Excel, like Microsoft Excel or a Google spreadsheet commands work in this. So so you can do a lot more here than you might have been able to in your 84 lists. So it treats it almost like a spreadsheet. So I'm going to go back home, and then you've got a data, and there's nothing to plot. But if we had some data, you'd have dots all over the place, and we could sort them out and things. And we'll come back to this too. Okay, and then notes, this just pops up a blank page to type on. So nothing fancy with that. Oh, we got all those three already, and this is a scientific one. If you want to plug in a motion sensor and things like that, that's what that one does. Okay, this is an important one right here. You have a little button on the side with a calculator on it. So I'm going to go home, and you have a button right here with a calculator, and it pops up a little calculation page. And if you hit escape, it puts that away. Hitting this choice A, so if you arrowed over to this A, it opens up the same thing. Escape will put it away. Or if you just press letter A right there, it'll pop up the same thing and escape will put it away. Here's the difference. This scratch pad, these two options, these sort of bring up the wimpy version of the calculator. So if you hit this, it brings up what would be like a scratch pad. This is like you're doodling on a napkin on the edge of your paper or something like that. So it's not going to be the full version. You're not going to have all the settings, and the biggest problem is you lose the advantage that the document has. So if I open up my current, so if I go back to one of my other pages, now all these pages are able to communicate with each other. So if I type a function in on my graph, I can go in on my calculator page, and there's my f1 that I had. So I could find like f of 3 of the function that I was graphing. You see that? It's x plus 2, f of 3 is 5. Because these pages communicate with each other. So it enables you to do a lot more things. There's nothing wrong with using this. It's handy if you got to do some operation. Maybe you don't want it in your way. I don't know why I picked the same addition twice. That's not very creative. So there's nothing wrong with it. Just be warned. It's like a wimpy version. You might frustrate yourself if you get in the habit of using it, because not everything I'm going to talk about is based on that. I'm doing it based on these real ones down here on the bottom. So I'm, for the most part, I'm going to stick with these right here. Okay, here's another habit to get into as well. Whenever you turn on your calculator, I would go New Document. And it's going to ask you, do you want to save anything? Unless you really had something you want to keep. But 99% of the time I don't. It's just whatever I was been working on, doing some stuff. Nope. And it opens up just a clean page. I'm back to 1.1. Good and fresh. And if you hit menu right here, there's your menu button. This button is going to be popular. We're going to use this button a lot, home button a lot, menu button a lot. So if I hit menu, I can pick which one I wanted. Now we're good to go. So you can take care of your stuff. Home page, new document when you want to start fresh. No, I don't want to save it. And now we're good to go. You can clear a page too, but I find it just as easy to start fresh and get a new document. Okay, so if I go home, we can pick one of the icons on the bottom, graphs or calculator or whatever, and I can just keep adding more calculator pages. You can have 100 blank ones if you want. It's not hurting anything. Control left, control right. This moves us between the pages that we have. And you notice my little arrow is now grayed out instead of blue. It's because I have no more pages in that direction. If I go over to the furthest to the left, see how that one grayed out? I got no more in that direction. Okay, so that's just a good habit. So on your calculator, hit home, turn it on, let's make a new document. No. Whatever page you wanted to do. So that's a good habit. Here's one more shortcut. So control left and right. Let's move between your pages. And here's one new one. Do you see above doc it says plus page? If I hit control, then the doc button, it's going to add a page. You can even see it added a little second tab hidden behind this. But if I pick my thing, okay, now I got a 1.2. And if we hit control, doc, see, you can kind of see the little tabs hidden back behind there. But now I can open up another one. Now it's got a 1.3. That's doing the exact same thing as going home and then picking one down from the bottom. So does the same thing. So control plus page saves you the trouble of going to your home screen and picking one. And then 4 pops our document back up. So home just minimizes it. You don't have to freak out. Control just pops it back up. Okay, so let's get a new document. Let's get into it for real. Actually, I think we got one more thing. Battery life. You'll see that right here. Now, if you just hover over it, if you use your little touchpad, get your mouse over there. Mine works a bit different. But if you, oh, well, that's nice too. I was going to point this out too. It tells you what mode you're in, radians or degree, for your trig stuff. That's very nice because on the 84s, 83s, you weren't quite sure until you did a problem and you noticed your answers all came out bad. So if you're teaching your kids any trig evaluations, you'll always have half your kids get the same wrong answer, and they all don't know why. And it's because their mode was wrong. So it's easy to check now because it just sits right there. And if you click up here, you can also set it. Changing the language we'll probably never do. Handheld setup's got some things we'll probably never do. Status, this will just really nothing we're going to do here either. But document settings is where we can change our radians to degree, changing what you're rounding to, things like that. Now this is where the tab button comes in nice. This tab button right here, because that just tabs you over. I'm sitting in front of a computer, so I have the luxury of using the keyboard. But if you're on your handheld, tab is the nice way to get yourself around on this. But I'm going to hit escape. Turn that off. Okay. Where are we at? I think I'm going to pause it right here. I'm going to pick up this trail. I'm just going to split this video up. So I'm going to make a second part, and I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of using the calculators and adding and subtracting and some of the cool features you can do with that. So I'm going to shut this one down, and we'll pick up the trail in just 1 minute.